Jacks. Welcome to the episode! Today we're going to talk about a really interesting topic, and it's jacks. It's not jacks actually, it's mine. Welcome back to another video. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about something that starts...
Wait,
what?
Episode of what?
On today's episode of the AtoZ of AV, we're going to be talking about something that starts with the letter J, and that is...
Jacks. When you say jacks, what do we mean?
Well, we certainly don't mean Jack and the Beanstalk, or anyone called Jack.
We mean plugs.
Connectors. No, we mean connectors. Jacks.
And by jacks we mean
Plugs. And by plugs, we don't mean necessarily plugs that go in the wall. They could be plugs that go in sockets elsewhere.
Like in the back of your TV.
Like in the back of your TV.
Or DVD player.
Or an EOVR.
Or your phone.
Or your iPhone. Or your other Apple device.
Firstly, audio jacks. Tell me about an audio jack.
First audio jack on the top of my head is a 3.5mm TRS.
Also known as an 1/8" jack. No one calls it that.
No.
It's 3.5.
3.5. And that's used for audio. It can be in a TRS or TRRS.
Or TS.
Basically the number of letters. So there's tip and there's ring and there's sleeve. This isn't going to work.
Yeah.
Tip, ring and sleeve. And it's used to transmit audio. You can have mono audio, stereo audio, or stereo plus a return audio channel, say for a headset.
Similarly, you can get 1/4" jacks or 6.35mm.
No one calls it 6.5. They're called 3.5mm, but no one
calls
uses
it an
the
eighth.
quarter, eighth.
And no one calls it
No
a
one calls
6mm
it
jack
6mm.
because it's a quarter inch jack,
So it's 3.5mm and 1/4".
which comes in mono with a tip and sleeve, or a stereo with a tip, ring and sleeve.
The next connector, or jack, is the XLR, which consists of 3 pins, which will be your... This is a balanced connector, which we talked about in our B video. Now this is made up of a positive pin, negative pin, and a ground.
The next audio connector that we usually use or come across is the Speak-On 2 or 4-pin connector, which can be used to send either a mono or stereo audio channel.
So the NL2 is the single channel speaker connector, and the NL4 connector is the stereo or 2-channel connector.
The number representing the number of contacts, not the number of channels it supports.
The next connector is a banana plug. We love the sound of that. It's so easy to slip in and out.
One of the most common connectors we use is RCA, which can carry both digital and analog signals, both audio and, we'll get to in a second, but video as well.
It uses a coaxial cable, similar to the stuff that sends your signal from your aerial to your TV. It's just got a different connector on the end of it. Phoenix connectors, they're a simple bare wire, push it in, screw it shut, and then you've got this connector on the end that's got as many cores as you've got. Single, 2, 4, 8.
Up to as big as you need them. They're essentially a removable screw terminal, which is very handy.
Very. And they're really easy to terminate.
HDMI cables, which are less commonly used for transporting audio signal, purely because it's a bit of a waste.
You've seen it more commonly in soundbars nowadays, where your soundbar would have they use the ARC channel, don't they?
Yeah, soundbars use HDMIs purely because HDMI cables can carry audio through the audio return channel, and it can also control the soundbar, sending power signals and volume up and volume down signals. That's
through CEC control.
Cool.
Optical. So that's a very sensitive, very delicate, do not twist, do not break, do not bend cable.
And generally do not use.
Yeah, it's good.
They fall out.
They do fall out unless you get the proper connectors. The cables that come with consumer products, they generally just, you pop them in, they might fall out, they might not work. They're not very good. All it is fibre. It's an optical cable. It sends light instead of electronic signals.
Simples.
But you can send 5.1 audio down an optical.
Well, it's unlimited how much you can send as digital signal, so you could theoretically send video down there. Back to HDMI cables, it can also be used for video, obviously, naturally.
Natürlich.
Yeah. HDMI cables capable of carrying up to... Is 8K supported on HDMI?
It has to be. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, HDMI cables capable of transporting video signals up to currently 8K. as that's the best AVRs and TVs that are available on the market.
If you're lucky enough to find any 8K content, that is.
Yes. Along with the video, naturally they carry audio, which again can be digital audio, which includes full surround, and a whole host of other things like CEC control and even Ethernet data for network connectivity.
DVI connectors, this is something you're more likely to see on a computer to connect your PC to your monitor. And it's basically HDMI, but it doesn't have the copy protection and the audio. And it's a really bulky, awkward cable to try and get in. Anyone who's put their PC together will know that connector only goes in one way, and it is fiddly as F.
It's essentially a primitive form of digital video over cable. On the other hand, the almost exact opposite is analog video through VGA connectors, which are very common in older computers. The little blue plug that went in the back of the monitor, and of course the blue plug at the back of the PC.
And in corporate meeting room environments,
yes,
they seem to always have one. If you want to connect something to a screen, if you don't have a VGA cable.
That's because business laptops love a VGA connection.
Mm-hmm.
Analog video can also be sent over
RCA, apparently. Composite video, ever heard of that? Component video, they're RCA connectors, same as we'd use for audio, but yeah, it sends analog video over that.
And similarly, back to the 3.5mm TRS connector, older handycams, old video cameras, they used to have a TRS output jack for connecting to your TV, and it was essentially just composite video on a really small jack for the sake of packaging, I suppose.
I did not know this.
Learn something new every day.
For communications and control, there are a number of plugs, one of which we use very, very commonly. It's called the RJ45 connector.
Yeah, that's used for networks, video, control, audio,
washing machines. The story behind that is I always bung a few RJ45s in my back pocket of my jeans, and I always find them in the washing machine.
Either in the washing machine or down the side of your car seat.
Yes.
Yeah. A very common connector for control systems, especially, although it's slightly disappearing now, is the trusty DB9, used for sending traditionally RS-232 control data or serial control data, which looks a lot like the VGA video connector, but it has 6 fewer pins.
Don't try and push a VGA connector into a TRS hole. TRS hole? That will never go. Don't try and push a VGA cable into a DB9 connector hole.
It don't fit.
No. Another application for a Phoenix connector, which we spoke about previously in audio, is in communications. We would use it for IR control or relays, contact closures, that kind of thing.
Or serial control.
Or serials.
Yeah. RS-232, RS-422, RS-485, there's a whole host of them, and they all love screw terminals. Removable screw terminals, all the better for it. For the last time, I think, back to the 3.5mm connector. This one keeps popping up everywhere.
Yeah.
It's quite a popular choice for a tip ring sleeve or TRS connector to be used for sending serial control data, or just a 2-contact or a tip and sleeve, a TS connector for sending infrared control data.
That's quite common. The next category of jacks is signal transmission. The first jack that we're going to cover is the F-type connector. Now that's the screw-on terminal that's really fiddly to get on the back of your TV.
The one that generally makes your thumb bleed trying to undo it.
Yeah. That uses the same type of cable as an RCA, just coaxial cable, so it's got a pin up the middle and then a ring around it. Romeo and Juliet. Similarly, the coax plug also uses the coax cable, but this is just a push type, and it comes as a male or a female. I'm not going to use my fingers. It comes in male or female, which is just whether it's got a pin or it's got a hole. There's no way around it. It's putting something inside something else.
That's why they're described as male and female, yeah. Again, optical connectors can also be used for signal transmission, like internet, for instance, fiber connectivity. OpenReach obviously rolling out fiber to all of the UK, so we're told. Still waiting. When's that coming? Optical can also be used for transmission of satellite signal or TV signal, for instance, especially in multi-dwelling units. where it needs to cover large distances very quickly.
2-wire capture thing, I don't know.
Often found as an RJ6 or RJ11 plug is the type that goes in the back of a modem or a telephone. And Ethernet, which we've already covered, an RJ45, like we said, it has a variety of uses, and it can also be used to distribute internet connectivity at a high cost. Yeah, we don't recommend this.
The number one jack that we use, the winner of the competition of what is the most commonly used jack, is the RJ45. We use it for distributing video, audio, network, control, phone line.
With those 5 things, we can do whatever we need to.
We can do everything.
Okay, so let's wrap it up.
So thank you for joining us in our journey through the AtoZ of AV. The next video, we have no idea what we're going to do for the letter K. Stay tuned and subscribe.
Wish us luck. Wish us luck. We're going to need it. K. I can think of one thing, but we don't use it.
Kebab meat. Bye.
Catch up next week.